sure we had enough time on the call, is this. It's the Shelter Box Hero Program. So we've been running the Hero Program as is for 3 years, and we've recently done a lot of analysis on the program. We looked at the Hero Club retention, were people renewing their pledges? We looked at growth, how many clubs were pledging on a regular basis, and what were our goals for the program? Lastly, we've listened to our ambassadors. We've heard that Rotary clubs, sometimes in the bylaws, the board can't commit to 3 years. They can only commit funds 1 year at a time. Between the analysis and hearing your challenges, we want to present to you a more Rotary-centric Hero program. And this program launches July 1st. And the news is we are no longer requiring pledges to be a Hero Club. We're making it easier, simpler, it's easier to explain, and it makes clubs easier to be recognized. So what is a hero? A hero club is still a Rotary club who is committed to making an impact in worldwide disaster response. That fact is absolutely not changing. Hero clubs are also those that will be giving at $1,000, $3,000, or $5,000. But we're making it easier. So starting July 1st, a Hero Club is a club that gives that $1,000, $3,000, or $5,000 within a single Rotary year. No pledge needed. So the funds can be sent directly from the club or a combination from gifts from individual members, but they're sent all together. And we are asking that all gifts specifically state Hero Gift on the check or donation and with an accompanying note. These guidelines are put in place so that, one, it's easy to track, and also so that the Hero program remains intact within its integrity to be proactive giving, to prepare, and to keep shelves stocked. So how will clubs be recognized? Well, when the club donates and they allocate that gift to a Hero Gift, they're going to receive a certificate every year. We're going to explain that process just here in a little bit. And then they can also receive a digital badge. You've seen a few of the new Hero logos. I've got the digital badges on the next slide, but I'm going to be updating that and having them available in the ambassador portal for ambassadors to have access to and send to clubs as well. Now, I still want to recognize clubs who have given for 3 years, right? So that's acknowledging consecutive giving. It's kind of in line with the older program. And so for clubs that are giving consecutively at $1,000, $3,000, and $5,000, we are still going to recognize them, and that's when they'll be eligible for the banner. Something new I wanted to add was that if a club has given consecutively for 10 years, we'll be ordering a special recognition for them. Very that all work. Okay, so I said at the beginning that this was going to be Rotary centric. So we're preparing the program to be in line with the Rotary year. So we're going to start preparing recognition. I'm going to start pulling data, looking at reports, looking at who's eligible. I'm going to start doing that at the end of February, early March. That's going to be in line with district conferences. So by district, once I know who's eligible, I'll reach out to the ambassadors of those districts. And I'm going to ask, can I send you this recognition package? Here's how many clubs in your district have qualified. Here's their different levels. Here's the recognition that I would be sending. Would you be able to present this at district conference, schedule presentations? Do you want to be personally involved in the recognition process? If there is not an ambassador in the district, or if they've opted out, they don't think they have the capacity to do it, what we're offering now that's different is that we're going to be contacting the district governor-elects. So once we know that the ambassadors opted out, we're preparing these recognition packages, and we're going to be contacting the district governors-elect and asking them if they will help us recognize these clubs during their visits in the fall, because starting July 1, they're the DGs. They're going to be on the road doing their Rotary Roadshow. And they're awarding Paul Harris pins already. They're awarding foundation giving banners. And now we're adding shelter box recognition into that speech. Now they're saying shelter box more. It's at the forefront of their mind. And we're giving them the opportunity to present when they're visiting clubs. We would like, and our preferred method is that you can recognize, whether it's the DG or yourself, that it's at district conference as much as possible. We're talking setting up stage time during the award session. You can give out certificates and recognize the clubs at your booth if possible. Make a thank you poster. I'm willing to help you with some of the graphics on that. Or maybe you can get the clubs listed in a brochure, I know, or in the program. I know Peggy Carlaw was able to do that. And she is willing to talk to us about the steps that she took. Not on this call, but I know she's going to be putting that together for me to share. But that's the Rotary timeline, right? That's where clubs are being recognized for their efforts throughout the year. And that's where we want to fit in shelter box recognition where all possible. But when recognition is not possible at district conference, we give you the recognition package, and you can recognize them through presentations throughout the year. So it's not that it's mandatory, it is preferred, but we know that maybe you want to do that personal recognition piece. And if the ambassador has opted out or there's not an ambassador, again, we're going to be sending that to the district governor-elects, and that they will be coming during the DG Rotary Club visits. So I'll take a moment to also say, though, so if we have this timeline, we're creating more of a structured schedule of when recognition is being prepared. I know that some of you will be meeting with clubs in the fall, and you're going to want to acknowledge those clubs in that moment. And you're going to ask me, what have they given? What are they eligible for? How can I thank them? So for those visits that fall outside of this timeline, where we don't have the recognition packages prepared yet, I'm going to have ready for you more of a generic certificate, but it's going to say a shelter box supporter club. We'll have that designed, and that can go out anytime so that you can hand them something, shake their hand in that moment, and thank them, and then let them know more recognition, more customized recognition is coming in the spring. I hope to be able to award it district conference or at a later meeting. And if you're following up with them at a later meeting, you're keeping that stewardship cycle going. You're continuing to celebrate that club. So what has not changed? Our need for support and sustainable giving to ensure that we are prepared for the next disaster. The HERO program was designed and remains a way for Shelter Box to stay prepared for upcoming disasters. The giving levels have not changed, and the ambassador's ability to personally celebrate HERO clubs and steward these important relationships has not changed. But what has changed? So in summary, we're recognizing clubs annually instead of with a 3-year pledge or after 3 years of consecutive giving. So annually and also 3 years really, because we're going to do the banner. No longer requiring pledges. And we are asking that all gifts state HERO gift on them on the check or an accompanying note. The other change that you heard me describe is the timeline that coincides with the Rotary year. I mentioned that it's going to go out one time a year, and I've shared with you the Shelter Box supporter certificate that will be available outside of that timeline. And I've already spoken to the timeline, so I'll go over these next few slides briefly, but here's what to expect. So next month, after the new Rotary year begins, we're going to mail out new Rotary year letters, but they're going to go out in 3 different buckets. There's going to be a letter for clubs that have not given before, and we're going to invite them to be heroes and explain the new HERO program. There's going to be a letter for clubs who have given consecutively. We're going to thank them for their ongoing of support and explain the changes to the HERO program. This letter will recognize the previous HERO level giving and invite clubs into the new program. Lastly, there's going to be a letter for clubs who have recently pledged. And this letter will thank them for their recent commitment, explain the new program, and let them know that we look forward to their future gift. In January, that's mid-Rotary year, we're going to be sending out a mid-Rotary year letter. And there's going to be buckets for those. There's going to be a letter addressing clubs who have given and letting them know how close they are to the next HERO level, kind of challenging them to bump up. And then there's going to be a letter addressing clubs who have not given yet and letting them know there's still time. Shortly following that in February, I'm going to be preparing the HERO recognition. I'm going to be pulling the data and getting the reports that I need. Then I'm going to be reaching out to ambassadors in March to send out recognition packages. April through June, that's when you all are doing your thing and the thing you do best, which is celebrating these relationships, these clubs, and their donations, whether it be district conferences or visiting clubs. June is when the recognition packages would be shipped out to the district governors-elect for anyone that wasn't covered in the first cycle. And July on, district governors are presenting awards during club visits, or ambassadors are. And then the cycle will start over. So what happens to the clubs who have recently pledged? I'm sure some of you are wondering that. And so again, we're preparing customized communication to these clubs. We want the transition to be smooth as possible. And the clubs who have given every year but haven't officially been a part of the HERO program, the retroactively acknowledged heroes, again, preparing that customized communication. We want the transition to be smooth for everybody, and we want everyone to be informed on the change and how they can participate moving forward. So I've talked a lot, and now I want to open up the floor to you all, because you might have questions regarding these changes. So Peggy, I see you've got a question, and I'm going to take you off mute. Okay, you might be muted yourself. I'm going to look in the question panel to see what we have here. So Peggy asked, do we have a new HERO letter, or do they just fill in the form in the brochure? What is the best way to get them to donate? That's a great question. So immediately following this call, there will be a refreshed page on the ambassador portal where we've got all new collateral, a new logo pack, a new donation form, removing all the terminology about pledge. And yes, Dave, I will be posting the letters, and I'm still pulling the data because you're talking about the letters that go out in July of who's going in what bucket. So I'm still pulling the data and getting the letters organized. But right now, all the new collateral materials will be on the ambassador portal. I can add to my list to make sure that you all are informed who got what letter. I will do that. Renee, Amy wants to know if districts can be heroes. And yes, a district can, if they have the ability to do so, they are able to write a check from the district and say this is a bronze hero and give to us that way. And that just needs to make sure that it says this is district, whatever district, we're hero, writing a gift. Districts do give, and they've given in the past. I don't think we currently have any district heroes, but making it this easy to become one, I'm sure it wouldn't be difficult to recruit some. Okay, I'm not seeing any other question. Okay, here we go. Glenn wants to know, can we get Shelterbox to give us access to our district clubs and their current donation history? So I have the ability to pull that report, Glenn. I can go in and pull your district, and we can look at it for as any timeline you'd like. So I would love to follow up with you, Glenn, and get a detail of the data that you're wanting, and I'll pull that for you, and then we can talk about these changes together. Tom, you're asking about the graphics to be used in a presentation, and I had promised you those. So yes, what I have prepared in our new set of materials, I didn't feel like Hero could really be done in one slide. So I made a wide presentation, a square presentation of both a 4-slide deck and a 7 slides. So depending on how much detail you want, that you can insert into your existing presentation. And then if it's easier for some of you that maybe just need 1 slide, you can use something that's already existing or create your own from those 7 or 4-slide decks. Okay, so Glenn, thank you for clarifying. At this time, and I don't have a way to embed that information into the portal. All right, I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes to make sure that you all feel good about this information. You could also follow up with me via phone or email. All right, not seeing any more questions right now.